Chompin. We're at the cinema. He's hiding in there. We're in the theater. Lift it up. Pick it up. Popcorn. There's a chipmunk. The popcorn is yellow. Whoa, the chipmunk got closer. Buttery. He's so close to us. It's crunchy. He opened his mouth. Toss it in. Chew the food. Food, popcorn, a chocolate bar, hot dog, snack mix or trail mix, nachos and cheese, gummy bears, and a blue slush. Something's wrong. Oh no! Ah! Pile of acorns. A movie?
Hi everyone! We have a brand new story featuring one of our favorite little furry friends. Introducing Chompin Chipmunk at the Cinema. Illustrated and created by GoGo Speech. This story will give you so many opportunities to work on your kids' speech and language skills during an acorn-filled picnic at the movie theater. It is very similar in structure to our other Chompin Chipmunk stories, and it's going to elicit a ton of language from your kids. We are going to pull out a bunch of different tasty food items, and we're going to feed them to the sneaky chipmunk whenever he comes close enough to eat them. And just like our other Chompin Chipmunk stories, every time he eats another food item, his cheeks are going to get bigger and bigger. So we're going to see what happens when his cheeks get too big at the end. This is a one-resource activity that you can use with all of your kids by adjusting your presentation of it to target their goals. Just like our other stories, you can use this resource as a tool to work on a wide range of speech and language skills. It's also a really great activity for working on prepositions because we are going to see the chipmunk move all around the screen behind us. You can pick some repetitive phrases and verbal routines to use throughout that include target sounds and language goals to get lots of trials in. So now I'm going to walk you through it to show you what it looks like and provide you with some ideas on how you can use it in your sessions. We're going to start out with our magic doors. I wonder what this story could be about. Open! Wow, we're at the cinema or the movie theater. Have you ever been to the movies? You can describe the scene. We have a picnic basket. I wonder if we're going to have a picnic. So now you can tell your kids, this isn't going to be any old picnic though. I heard there was a sneaky chipmunk that snuck into the cinema. And he's hiding in there. I think we can get him to come out if we're really nice to him. So I brought some foods in the basket that I think he might like. Now I heard he's super quick and a little bit shy, so we have to work really hard to get him to come out to play with us. Do you think it's gonna work? We're gonna try. So we're gonna go through those doors over there and set up our picnic. So throughout the story, you can prompt your kids to use language that addresses their speech and language goals. So here you might have them say, go closer, let's go, set up our picnic, here we go, through the doors, we're in the theater, let's put this basket on the table, put it on, we're all set up. Do you see the chipmunk yet? I don't either. All right, open the basket, open, or lift it up. Still no chipmunk. You can see that there's a number projected on the screen, and this number is going to tell you how many food items are left in the basket. For each of the food items, you are going to pretend to reach into the basket to pull it out. Reach in, grab the food, pull it out, pick it up. Wow, acorn popcorn. You can see if your kids notice that the chipmunk popped up in the background. There's the chipmunk in the front row. I bet he came out because he smells the food. If you want, you can give the chipmunk a name that includes your child's target speech sounds. You can have your kids greet the chipmunk. You can have your kids introduce themselves to make the chipmunk feel more comfortable because we know he's a little bit shy. So for each food item, you can talk about what it tastes like, smells like, feels like, what parts it has, is it sweet or salty, is it sticky or juicy, crunchy or chewy, and so on. You can use the GoGo Speech food describing visual, and this can be found in our library of resources. And you can tell your kids that whenever they talk about the food, it makes the chipmunk even hungrier. And when he's really hungry, he might come closer to us so he can eat the food. So you can use these opportunities to work on your kids' goals before moving to the next slides. So maybe the child needs to provide a word to describe the food item, or maybe they need to formulate a sentence about it. The popcorn is yellow. Whoa, the chipmunk got closer. I wonder what else we can say about the popcorn. So you can continue describing. Popcorn is buttery. He's so close to us. All right, maybe we can think of one more thing to say about the popcorn to try to get him to open his mouth. It's crunchy. He opened his mouth. So if you're working on speech sounds with your child, then maybe you can have a repetitive phrase that you use with each food item that includes their target sounds. You could also have the child complete a certain number of target words or tasks each time to make the chipmunk come closer. When the chipmunk opens his mouth, you can prompt your kids to help feed him the food item. Grab the food, pick it up, throw it in his mouth, toss it in, chew the food. And here's the chocolate bar, and you would be targeting your goals throughout this whole sequence. If you want, you can use a big spoon or fork to help throw the food into the chipmunk's mouth. Scoop it up. Here you go.
He ate it. Wait, where'd he go?
So immediately after feeding the chipmunk a food item, he will quickly escape to hide in the scene again.
Whoa, he's all the way back there,
peeking through the doors. And then you can suggest pulling up another food item to get him to come closer. We better get some more food for him. Let's see if there's anything else. Reach in, pull it out. Hot dog! So as I mentioned before, you can work on prepositions and make sentences about the chipmunk's location throughout this story. He will be hiding in front of, behind, between, on top of, and under different objects in the scene. He's upside down, hanging from the ceiling, in the seats, on top of the doors, under the curtain or behind the curtain, in the curtain. His shadow is on the screen. And the acorn-filled food and drink items include popcorn, a chocolate bar, hot dog, snack mix or trail mix, nachos and cheese, gummy bears, and a blue slushie. All of these food items are foods that you can usually find at the cinema. You can see what your kids like to eat or drink when they go to the cinema. And as you can see, the chipmunk's cheeks grow throughout the story each time he eats another food item. You can see if your kids can notice that as the story goes on. Look how big his cheeks are now.
Why are his cheeks getting bigger?
Uh-oh, his cheeks are getting a little too big. He's so happy. He was able to eat lots of yummy foods. Oh no, something's wrong. Oh no! Ah! He did have too many acorns in his cheeks. How did he get all of these acorns in his mouth? Uh-oh. So this is an optional thing. If you are using this virtually and using a green screen, then you can cover your body with extra green material and pretend that you're stuck in the acorns, and then you can have the kids try to get you out. So I have my green material covering me up, and it looks like I am stuck in a pile of acorns. The chipmunk! So the chipmunk pops up to do a little dance. He thinks it's funny that we're stuck in a pile of acorns. Or maybe he's happy because his mouth isn't packed with acorns anymore. And you can use the arrow keys to go back and forth between these two slides to make him dance. He looks surprised. I wonder what he's looking at. Wait a second. He's stuck on the screen. How did that happen? Did he turn into a movie? The screen got fuzzy and the chipmunk is all gone. Uh-oh. And you can end the story here and say, we'll have to try again next time. Or you can start all over by going back to the same slide in the beginning of the story, opening up the basket and doing it all again. GoGo members will also get access to some printable PDFs to go along with this story. These printables can be used in person, or they can be emailed over to the grown-up to be used during your virtual sessions. So you'll get a Feed the Chipmunk printable. This includes a printout of each of the food items that we pull out of the basket. And to go along with that, you will get a printout of the chipmunk with his 3D glasses on. So you can cut a hole out for the mouth, and you can feed the chipmunk each time we feed it in the story. You can also do this after the story to reinforce the vocabulary and keep the play going. The next printable is a sequencing activity where the child can cut out all the food items at the bottom of the page and glue them in order as the chipmunk eats them throughout the story. We also have a coloring printable that shows the chipmunk standing on the basket with the cinema scene behind him. And the last printable is a writing activity called My Cinema Day. Your kids will get to write about their own experiences going to the movie theater if they've ever been there before, or they can write about a day at the cinema that they would like to have in the future. Depending on their abilities, you can have them answer verbally and you can just fill it in for them, or they can work on writing it themselves. And there's a spot at the bottom to draw a picture of themselves enjoying a movie at the cinema. So I hope you all have so much fun with this story and get tons of language in your sessions. Chompin' Chipmunk is always a big hit with our kids, so we can't wait to see how your sessions go. I'll see you all next time. Bye!